Welcome back, Outlaws. Today we're kicking off Chapter 6's very first gold medal mission, Icarus and Friends. Now, I'm not going to lie, this one can get a little bit spicy if you haven't mastered manual tagging in Deadeye, or if you and the balloon controls have the kind of relationship where you take breaks from each other. That said, it's honestly not the hardest mission, so I think most of you are going to find this totally doable, with a bit of focus and a tiny sprinkle of please don't panic, Arthur. For the gold, you'll need to hit all 4 objectives. 1. Keep the balloon at the correct altitude for the entire journey. 2. Get 15 headshots from the balloon. 3. Complete with at least 70% accuracy. And 4. Complete the mission without taking any health items. Alright, while we're riding out to find the balloon with Sadie, quick but important reminders because this mission loves punishing the unprepared. First, do not take any health items at any point during the mission if you want that gold objective. And yet the annoying part is, if you die, it also counts as a health item. So to be safe, if you die during the mission and you're going for the gold, restart and run it clean. Now for the good news, 70% accuracy is actually easy as long as you play smart. Rule is simple, only shoot when you're sure the shot will hit. Your best little cheat, and no, not that kind of cheat, calm down, is wait until the crosshair turns red before firing. If it's red, you're lined up, take the shot. If it's not, don't donate bullets to the sky. And finally, you're going to want solid Deadeye usage later, so don't let the core fall apart. A really easy habit is to take snake oil or chewing tobacco before the outer bar of your Deadeye core fully drains. Basically, don't wait until Arthur is running on fumes. Top it up early so you're ready when the shooting starts. Once you're up in the balloon, your number one priority is altitude, because if you drift out of the correct range for even a moment, the game can be really fussy about counting it. The easiest way to manage it is to make tiny corrections instead of big ones. Don't hold the ascend or descend control for ages, just short taps to nudge yourself back into the safe zone. Keep your eyes on the altitude indicator at all times and the prompt for your pilot. If he's telling you to go up or down, take it seriously. He's basically your passive-aggressive flight instructor. What I do on this mission is honestly ignore everything else and just stare at the bottom right of the screen like my life depends on it. I've zoomed in here so you can see it properly, because if you're playing on a bigger TV, that little graphic can be weirdly easy to miss. So you've got this little circle, and on the left side there's a yellow bar. At the start of the balloon flight, your job is to get your altitude lined up with that yellow bar and keep it there. Here's the important part. Don't go above it. If you climb past the yellow bar, it'll start turning red, and then basically that means objective failed. So as you head towards Sisika, just focus on reaching that yellow bar and then maintaining that exact level using quick taps or bursts, not long holds. Treat it like you're gently nudging the balloon into position rather than wrestling it. Nice and steady, because this game will absolutely punish you for getting too confident. As you get closer and closer to Sisika, that yellow bar I showed you is going to creep lower and lower, so don't assume you can set it once and forget it. You'll need to keep watching the bar and gradually reduce your altitude to match it. The key here is to ease off that right trigger. Don't keep boosting up out of habit, and just let the balloon slowly drift down. If you need to, use tiny taps rather than holding anything down, so you're making gentle corrections instead of big swings. Okay, we're coming up to Sisika now, and this is where the mission briefly turns into Where's Wally, but everyone has rifles. At this point, Bullard takes over the balloon controls, and you'll pull out your binoculars. You'll get a few search areas, but the one we want is the field near the big red barn. John is usually easiest to spot because he's with a chain gang in the field, so sweep the binoculars slowly across the workers until you see him, then focus and confirm when the prompt appears. Don't rush the scan like you're speed reading a terms and conditions page. Smooth controlled sweeps and lock on as soon as you spot him. The moment you identify him, the guards basically go, "Ah yes, a suspicious balloon hovering over a prison, let's shoot it." Now you need to immediately get out of there. Switch back to altitude control as soon as you're given it. Ascend straight away to get back into the safe altitude zone. This is the one time you don't want gentle, careful drifting. You want a clean lift, so keep pressing that right trigger. And keep it simple, ignore the chaos, stare at the altitude meter and get back up until the mission stops yelling at you. Once you're high enough, the game will basically push you along and you'll be heading away from Sisika. Now we move on to Objective 2, 15 headshots from the balloon. And of course this is the part where Sadie runs into the O'Driscolls again, because apparently they're on the same kind of loyalty scheme and she's collected all the stamps. The only reliable way to get headshots in this section is to manually tag in Deadeye. At this stage you're not in control of the balloon, so you don't need to worry about drifting or altitude while you're shooting. Your whole job is to farm clean headshots while the enemies are moving on horseback. As a reminder, for manually tagging using Deadeye, press R3, which is the right stick down like a button, to enter Deadeye. This slows down time and gives you the control you need. Move your aim into the target's head, then press right one or right bumper to manually tag the head. Then to finish the move, press R2 or right trigger to fire and complete the shot. I personally find it best to do this one enemy at a time instead of trying to tag multiple riders in one go. It's safer for your accuracy and it massively reduces the chance you tag a shoulder or a horse or thin air, which the game will absolutely count against you. And if you need a full refresher, I've got a full video on manually tagging linked in the description. Keep your Deadeye in good shape. To keep Deadeye feeling snappy, you want to maintain the outer bar using chewing tobacco or snake oil. Use them before the outer bar fully depletes. This helps protect your inner Deadeye core from draining. Because if the inner Deadeye core turns red, targeting becomes a nightmare even if you've got a fortified outer bar. Red core Deadeye is basically Arthur going, best I can do is vaguely gesture in that direction. And a reminder about the 70% accuracy, don't panic fire. Only take a shot when the crosshair is red and you've got a clean head tag lined up. Do that, Deadeye in, tag head, shoot, repeat, and those 15 headshots come in nice and steady without nuking your accuracy. We're not finished with this mission just yet, because after you've dealt with the O'Driscolls on horseback, one of them very sneakily takes a shot at Bullard, and suddenly we're the ones in charge of the balloon, because of course we are. Now there's an incoming bridge and you do not have the time to admire the scenery. As soon as you're back in control, ascend straight away by holding R2 or right trigger. Do it immediately so you can clear the bridge without clipping it and turning this mission into a short documentary called Balloon vs Wood. Who wins? Once you're about to clear the bridge, stop pressing the right trigger and start bringing the balloon back down again. You want to descend as quickly as you can. And this is the rare moment where I'm going to say something that sounds illegal for this mission. It's fine if the altitude bar goes red. We actually need to get low. We want the balloon close enough to the ground so Sadie feels safe jumping onto the rope. Once we're low enough, the game takes over for a second and Sadie jumps onto the rope. And now it's on us to help her climb up. Just follow the on-screen prompts here. This section is actually pretty straightforward, so don't overthink it. Keep the balloon steady, do what the game tells you, and you'll have Sadie back with you in no time. Once Sadie is safely in the balloon, you'll get a short cutscene. Skip it if you want, and after that you'll be back on solid ground. From here on, the only objectives you really need to keep in your head are no health items, so no sneaking potions, food that boosts your health, don't die to keep that objective clean, and maintain your 70% accuracy. When you first come out of the cutscene, the game will place you behind the rock. Stay here and take out the enemies coming across the river. There will be about 4 or 5 of them to deal with. Once those are out of the way, keep an eye on Sadie, because she'll start launching herself into the wooded area behind, where more O'Driscolls are approaching. So be prepared to turn around quickly and take cover again to take on the enemies from behind, before Sadie loses more than her head. Like I said earlier, Deadeye makes the accuracy requirement much easier here because you're not panic firing and hoping for the best. The golden rule still applies, only shoot when the crosshair is red. Use cover behind the rocks and treat them as your best friends. Don't rush forward too quickly, and don't let Sadie push too far ahead either. If she gets too aggressive, there's a real risk she can go down. And here's the annoying bit: if Sadie dies and you restart a checkpoint, it can mess with your no health items requirement, so play it safe and keep her backed up. If you want a refresher on manually tagging, skip back to the balloon shooting section of this video where I go into more detail. And finally, one last reminder, keep your Deadeye outer bar fortified before it fully drains, using snake oil or chewing tobacco, and don't let that inner Deadeye core turn red, because once it does, targeting in Deadeye turns into an absolute nightmare, even if your bar is fortified. Alright, that's Icarus and Friends wrapped up, and balloon piloting, O'Driscoll target practice, and somehow Sadie still found a way to turn it into a personal feud. Classic. If this guide helped you grab the gold, hit like, and if you want more no-nonsense gold medal guides, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Go on, it's cheaper than therapy after failing the altitude objective for the 5th time. I've also got more guides linked in the description, plus extras like Deadeye manually tagging tips, and anything else you might need to make these medals a lot less painful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Good boy. Okay there?